bought a building, a home, for fledgling composers who come out here, and they could stay for, very
4 months.
4 months for very, very little money. See if they want to move out to LA, try LA as a composer, and you can also audit your class too, right?
Right.
You used to be able to audit the
I
class.
used to be able to order my USC class, and I had so many people come into it that at one point, Brian King, who runs the film scoring program, the graduate film scoring program at USC, said, Chris, this can't work. So then I started an open class, or a free class, whatever you want to call it, for those people, for anyone else who wanted to come in and basically experience the same class I was teaching at USC, but for free. And that lasted for a few years. I've done 3 sessions of that, and I've been meaning to do it now for about a year and a half again, and I just haven't worked out. I miss it. But indeed, the house is called, and this is important. This is really important for those of you out in that are perhaps watching this, who are yourselves composers or musicians, or even non-musicians who are wanting to check out the film that you've seen out here. The house is called the Tilton House. I believe you can go online onto my website and get information about the Tilton House. But yes, the whole building was put together, was purchased, so that people who have been fantasizing like I did about moving out to LA, but are afraid to make the move, A, because either they don't have the money, or B, because they don't have the connections. This is a place where you can stay for 4 months. The rent is, I think, $400 a month. But even if you're struggling, you can't afford that, we can work something out with you. Because I would love to have you come out here. I'm a strong believer in making the first step towards acquiring or realizing this dream that you may have. But for sure, you have to be out here in LA, no question about it. So uh, my my dream ultimately is to buy a large apartment building that can house 20 people at a time. Right now, I think that's 5 people can stay at once there, and it's booked. I think it's booked until March of next year. We've had people come from all over the world who have stayed there and invariably, inevitably, have walked away with a smile on their face. Some have stayed, some have returned with the promise of coming back. Um, but the nice thing about it is that when you move into this house, it's a nice house too. It's right by Sony. It's not far from my office here.
So it's in Culver City.
It's in Culver City. But you also, you're in a building, and they're all musicians in it, and they're all composed. Basically, yeah, they're all composers. They're all in the same boat, So the other nice thing is you make friends with the people that are living there, and they support you, and you support them. So you don't feel quite as alone as you would have if you come out on your own.
But there is a screening process, obviously, because you can't just, I want to come to LA for a month and have a nice vacation. No, this is for people who are really serious about.
Serious about pursuing a career in film.
So those of you that's going to come out here and have a little vacation and really.
No one does. Everyone who's come out here is extremely serious about it, and I should start finding out what percentage have stayed and have gone on, because it's been around now for a couple of years.
Well, these are people who, here are people who you've taught. Marco Beltrami was
That's right. That's one of my students. That's right.
Chris Beck.
Chris Beck was a student. Very proud.
And it's funny because Marco and Chris have both told me Chris Beck is a wonderful composer, but he has a reputation of doing romantic comedies.
That's right.
And Marco Beltrami, the excellent composer, has a reputation of just doing these now, doing a lot of these action movies.
Right.
And Marco has told me how much he wants to do a romantic comedy, and Chris
Yeah,
has told me how much he wants to do more of these action movies. So it's kind of like if you and more. And
that's right. It's the way it's always been, probably since the beginning of time. No one's quite content being in their exclusively colored skin.
And TV composers want to work in film.
Oh yeah, sure. The grass is always greener, and you get typecasted. There's no way around that, and everyone believes that they have the ability to accomplish that other type of movie they so desperately seek. And it's just getting, of course, the catch is getting the first film to show that you can do it, so that you can get the next film of the same type. It's getting that first movie. Unfortunately, even if you get that first movie, the film also has to have some
Well, you were very fortunate because the first kind of film you scored was while you were in college. It was a college project.
That's right.
And that ended up getting a commercial release.
That is correct. That is correct. It was a horror film.
The Storm That Dripped Blood.
The Storm That Dripped Blood, a classic.
Yes.
Not a classic love story, that's for sure. Not a romantic comedy. Not an anime.
Well, you know what? Let's walk around.
Okay.
So we don't run out of time. If you have more questions, please add your chats here. We're going to walk around and Chris is going to give us a little tour of his studio. It's very primitive here, so
Very primitive.
let's start with
some of
the
the front door.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you walk up the stairs here, the first thing you do when you enter the office is you walk up the stairs.
Okay. So you walk
You're
around.
turning up. You see the posters on the wall down here at the bottom of the stairs.
Yes.
On the side.
I don't want to go too far. I don't want to lose you.
Okay. So we walk up the stairs. You walk into this room. This is on the second floor of the building. You close the basement.
And show us what we have here.
Well, these are part of my snow globe collection. Basically, the things that I'm most interested in collecting are holiday paraphernalia. Now, snow globes doesn't fall into that category, does it? It does not.
Well, snow globes are very wintry, and
Yeah, they are very wintry.
Christmas.
And there is something, of course, like my holiday paraphernalia that immediately reminds you of being a kid. So most everything that I collect its intent is to reconnect me with my childhood.
Okay, keep walking that way.
Okay, here we go. So now we come around. Are we going to do this?
All right, yeah, we can do
Now
this.
you look at this wall. You see some of the awards I've got.
We have BMI awards, the Career Achievement of Temecula, Score Log Web Magazine. What is that? Score Log.
What's that? This is the awards. This is Career Achievement Award for my high school. Anyway, that's the
Saturn Award.
Saturn Award for Hellbound. But here we are. This is the wall that's got the autographs of basically universal character actors.
I don't know how closely we can get it. But we have
Contract character actors who played in horror films.
Bela Lugosi,
There's Bela Lugosi.
Lon Chaney, or not Lon Chaney,
That's
Peter
Lorre.
Peter Lorre.
Basil Rathbone. A letter written by Basil Rathbone to his agent. We have Zachary. Here's Vampira, who I met. Vampira. We have Ernest Beisinger, who played Dr. Pretorius in The Bride of Frankenstein. Maria Ospinskaya.
So Chris, okay, so
Okay,
on the one hand, you say how you want to branch out and you want to do horror, but you love horror. You have to admit, you love horror.
I do love it. I cannot tell a lie. I do love it. Here's an interesting story about the John Carradine one. Can you point the computer up that way? You see, this is John Carradine. You know what John Carradine was? Okay. So John Carradine's
Father of David Carradine.
Yeah, son, David, came in here once because he was a friend of a director on a film that I was working on. And he looks up at the autograph. He goes, bad news. That's not my dad's autograph. I said, no, you can't, no. You must be making a mistake. No, it's definitely not my dad's autograph. And I got most of these autographs from the same guy. So my heart goes, oh no. And then I called the guy and I said, listen, David Carradine was here. And he said, no, he's definitely wrong. Now remember, probably your own son might look at your signature at some point and go, that's not my dad's autograph, because it changes.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So anyway, he sent me another one, which looked exactly like the other one. So here's one of my favorite ones, then we'll move on. That's Tor Johnson. That was the hardest one to get. He's in Plan 9 from Outer Space. You see him up there? That was a tough one to get. Really tough to get.
Okay.
And that's the most recent edition.
It's hard getting these close-ups on this.
Okay.
So that you have this.
Yeah. Then we go to. Then I got the Santa Claus obsession.
So you have two favorite holidays.
I have two favorite holidays. That would be Halloween and Christmas.
Okay. So we have the snow globe, which all the snow globes are resin, right? There's a.
Well, the snow globes.
I mean all the Santa Claus.
So it's resin, hand-painted resin. That's my thing. I'm not into the porcelain or the wood ones, plastic ones. The resin. That's just my thing. I just happen to be obsessed